The day isn't over until you end it. The sun goes down, but the mind keeps going. It replays, it rewinds, it reminds you of everything left undone, unsaid, unfinished. But the Stoic knew you don't end the day by collapsing into sleep. You end it by closing it, deliberately, cleanly, with still hands and a steady spine. Because if you don't pause, the day follows you, into your breath, into your dreams, into the first thought of tomorrow. That's not rest, that's residue. And residue becomes rot if left too long. So tonight, before your body shuts down, let your mind do it first. Step back, look in, ask less, speak less, release more. The day happened, it's over, but it won't leave until you let it. Not with noise, but with notice. Not with scrolling, but with stillness. This is where the Stoic ends his day. Not by sleeping first, but by returning first. Review without regret. The Stoic didn't fear the past, he reviewed it. Not to dwell, not to punish, but to see. Clean, sharp, unemotional. What did I do today? Where did I slip? What did I give my attention to that didn't deserve it? This is not judgment, it's calibration. Because the day already happened. You don't get to rewrite it, but you do get to learn it before it fades into habit. So pause, trace your steps, not like a prosecutor, like a carpenter, measuring what held, what cracked, what didn't need to be there. Seneca called it a nightly examination, not of success, but of self-respect. Because when you observe the day without adding regret, you teach the mind to correct without cruelty, and that's what makes you better. Not harder, not angrier, just cleaner. So tonight, sit with the version of you that moved through the day, see him clearly, then set him down. So tomorrow, you don't carry his weight, you carry his lesson. Die before you sleep. Sleep is not escape, it's rehearsal, for silence, for surrender. For the one moment you won't get to wake up. The Stoics knew this, that every night was a kind of death, not in fear, but in gratitude. Because to die a little is to remind yourself what matters when nothing else does. And if tonight was your last, would you want your final act to be scrolling a screen? Regretting a sentence? Racing to forget instead of remembering what you lived? No, you'd want stillness, clean breath, a mind that knows, I lived today, as best as I could. That's what dying before sleep means. Not dramatics, just detachment from control, from outcome, from the illusion that tomorrow owes you anything. It doesn't. So let go. Drop the armor. Close your eyes, like someone who made peace with what they gave. And if you wake again, call it a bonus, one more sunrise to sharpen the soul. But if not, let your last moment be full of presence. You don't sleep to escape the world. You sleep to leave it without being owned by it. Read what stays. The day speaks loud, the night should not. But before the silence, let a better voice speak. Not the feed, not the thread, not the fiction you skim to escape. Read something that stays, that sharpens, that doesn't entertain, but enters. The Stoics read for reconstruction. One sentence, one line, one drop of clarity before descent, because the mind doesn't shut off, it absorbs, even in sleep. And what you feed it before the fall becomes part of what you wake into. So choose well. Don't read to feel smart. Read to feel stable. Pick up Epictetus. Marcus. A verse that bites back. A truth that doesn't flatter. Let it scrape, let it sting, let it slow your breath. Not every night needs a chapter. Just something that reminds you who you want to be. When the morning doesn't go your way, because the body sleeps, but the soul listens. And some words hold like anchors, long after the light is gone. So tonight, before you close your eyes, feed the part of you that still wants to rise. Detach from the outside. The day leaves fingerprints, not on skin, but on mind. Notifications, faces, judgments, noise dressed as importance. And if you don't wash it off, you take it to bed. You sleep with someone else's expectations pressing on your chest. The Stoic refused that. He closed the gate, not out of anger, out of alignment, because the world is loud, but rest is quiet, and you can't have both in the same room. So tonight, put it down, all of it, the inbox, the feed, the conversation that lingered too long in your head, None of it deserves your nervous system after dark. Unplug, not to escape, but to return to the body, to the breath, to the inner room where your name still means something. This isn't retreat, it's reclamation. You're not rejecting the world, you're remembering that you don't have to carry it every second to prove you care. The Stoic detaches, not to feel nothing, but to feel clean. So when you lay down tonight, lay down alone, with no browser tabs open in your mind, still, untethered. Enough. Return to purpose. You did things today, answered, showed up, pushed through. But for what? The Stoic didn't live to perform. He lived to align. Every action, every word, tied back to a purpose. He chose and protected. And that's what you need now. Before sleep, before the dark softens everything into forgetfulness. Ask, did I move in the direction I said I would? Did I say no to what didn't belong? Did I live like my time was finite? Don't lie, don't decorate it, just notice. Because when purpose fades, drift begins, and drift over time becomes loss. So anchor back, not with goals, not with pressure. Just a whisper, I'm still aiming, I haven't forgotten, this matters. The Stoic doesn't need applause, he needs a compass. So even when the day goes sideways, he ends it straight, aligned again, even if only inward. Because sleep without purpose is just pause. But sleep with purpose is reset. So tonight, before you close your eyes, return, quietly, completely, to why you even woke up. Restraint is a practice. Not every thought needs an answer. Not every feeling needs a reaction. Not every itch deserves a scratch. The Stoic understood this. Power isn't just motion. It's restraint, especially at night, when the mind is tired, when the body wants ease, when emotion pretends to be urgency. You don't need to respond, not to the text, not to the voice in your head that replays what went wrong, not to the craving that says, just one more. Silence is an option, stillness is a response. Restraint isn't repression. It's redirection. It's choosing what gets your energy when your tank is nearly empty. And that choice builds something deeper than willpower. It builds clarity. Because every time you pause, you prove that you're not owned by impulse. And that proof accumulates. So when sleep calls, don't end the day by giving in to what feels good for 5 seconds, but costs you peace for 5 hours. End it by choosing less. Less reaction, less noise. Less of what never made you proud in the morning. That's restraint, not a punishment. Practice, one that makes sleep cleaner and waking up lighter. Sleep with stillness. Sleep isn't the end, it's the return to a state where nothing is held, where everything is laid down, gently, finally. The Stoic didn't collapse into sleep. He entered it with stillness. No racing thoughts, no half-held arguments, no silent screaming about things already gone, just still, like a lake after the last ripple fades. And that stillness wasn't given. It was built. By review, by letting go, by remembering that nothing truly worth keeping demands to be dragged into dreams. So tonight, don't just close your eyes, close the loop, end the thought, drop the tension. Release the version of you still trying to hold what the day has already taken. You are not a container, you are a current. Let it pass, let it all pass. The noise, the need, the identity you borrowed today to feel in control, let it go and sleep, not as escape but as arrival, to yourself, to silence, to a version of peace that doesn't need to be earned, only allowed. Nothing follows you unless you bring it. The day doesn't chase you, the stress doesn't follow you. The pain doesn't sleep beside you unless you let it, unless you grip it, rehearse it, invite it into your final breath before rest. But you don't have to. The Stoic knew most of what weighs us down was never meant to cross into night. So tonight, leave it at the door. Whatever hurt, whatever echoed, whatever didn't land right, it doesn't belong where silence lives. And silence, it's here now, waiting, not for perfection, not for clarity, just for your permission to close. So give it. Not in words, in stillness, because nothing follows you unless you bring it. And tonight, you don't have to.